Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm bringing you my March Mystery Madness wrap-up. First off, I'd like to say thank you so much to all of the participants and the hosts this year. It was a blast. There was a lot of content and lots of chatter on the Twitter and in our Goodreads group. It was so much fun, and thank you so much to all of you who participated, as well as those of you who have participated before and came back and participated again. We really, really appreciate it. But even though March Mystery Madness is over now, that doesn't mean that we stop reading mystery books. So our group is always open. If you ever are looking for a mystery recommendation or just want to chat, just head over to our Twitter or our Goodreads group, and we will be reading mysteries all year round. So, I didn't do so well on my challenges, but I don't usually stick to challenges or TBRs. So it's actually quite a miracle that I finished 3 of the books that I had planned on in my TBR. So I think I did not too bad a job sticking to those. So yeah, let's just get into it. The first book that I read for March Mystery Madness was The Seventh Victim. This is the first book in the Karen Vale Mystery Series by Alan Jacobson. I read this one in combination of Kindle book and audiobook. I did listen to most of it on audiobook though. This one follows an FBI profiler by the name of Karen Vale, and they are hunting for a serial killer. Obviously, that's all I'm going to say about this, because with this type of mystery, if I say more than that, you might be able to figure out what's going on. So I'm going to leave it at that. I really enjoyed this book. If you like the TV show Criminal Minds at all, this book was very much like that TV show. I had no idea who the culprit was until the end. There was something towards the end that I didn't quite like the way how it was presented, but nonetheless, I still enjoyed the story a lot, and I will be continuing on with this series. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. The next book I read was a carryover from February. It was Murder of a Small Town Honey by Denise Swanson, which is the first book in the Scumble River Mystery series. This was the February pick for Book One Cozy's Club, or the first in the series, Cozy Mystery Book Club, which is the book club that I run out of the Mystery Madness Goodreads group. This one follows a child psychologist, or one that works in a school, and her name is Sky, and she has had to come back to her hometown after swearing after graduating from high school that she would never ever be back. Circumstances have led her home, and within the first couple days of her being home, she gets recruited to judge a eating contest in the county's fair, and she stumbles across a dead body. So this one was interesting. As far as cozy mysteries goes, I haven't read an amateur sleuth quite like Sky. Most of the amateur sleuths that I read about are actively investigating. Like, they are the ones that want to know what happens. In this one, Sky gets persuaded into investigating, which I thought was very refreshing, as it was different from what I'm used to. Her investigation style is very laid back, because she's not really invested in the investigation process. So yeah, this was surprisingly enjoyable because of that aspect. I again had no idea who the culprit was, and I will definitely be continuing on with this series as well. And so there was a little clip of the next book in the back of this book, and I did read that one, so I'm interested to see what happens with that. But until then, I did enjoy this one, and I ended up giving this one 4 stars as well. The next book I read was The Ice Princess by Camilla Lackberg. This is the first book in the Portrait Headstrong mystery series. I hope I said that right. I did listen to most of this on audio, also purely because I wanted to get the pronunciations of the names right. This one, however, the narrator had like a British accent, or what I perceive as a British accent, as well as some Irish accents. So I didn't quite get the Swedish accent, but the pronunciation of some of the names that I see in here was much different than I thought they would be. So even though having the British and Irish accents was a little confusing, I did enjoy this story. This one follows, and here I go again. It looks like Erica, but the narrator pronounced it Elika? Elika? I think he pronounced it Elika, or very close to that. And again, I apologize if that is not the correct pronunciation. But she writes biographies, I believe, and she is taking a break at her parents' house at the moment because her parents have just died in an accident, and she's there taking care of the house and putting away things, and things you do after your parents die. And so she goes out for a walk one day and is stopped by a neighborhood gentleman and says, "Come quick, come quick." And she finds her very old friend, a friend that she had in childhood, that they became estranged very long time ago, dead in a bathtub and what looks like a suicide. So since she was the person to find this lady, she kind of gets involved in the investigation process. Not that she's really investigating at all either. Now, the name of this series was the Portrait Headstrong Mystery Series. I think on Goodreads it's listed under a different name though, and I think it's the town or the like city that this story takes place in. But again, I can't pronounce it, so I'm not going to say it. But if you go to the Goodreads page, you'll see what it says. But Portrait Headstrong is the lead investigator in this series, in this investigation. So he is actually also one of Ilika's childhood acquaintances. And as the investigation goes through, Ilika and Portrait kind of rekindle their relationship, and Portrait becomes like the lead investigator. What I thought was odd about this one was that Portrait doesn't show up for quite a bit in this novel. So for it to be the Portrait Headstrong Mystery Series, I thought he'd definitely be introduced like right at the beginning. But he wasn't. So I was like, okay, how does Ilika fit into this series? So the transition between Ilika and Portrait getting involved, I thought went very smoothly. Like, the handover was very nicely done. This one does have multiple POVs, and though I've said before that I have issues with multiple POV books, I didn't have an issue with this one, which was a nice surprise. There are a couple different things going on in this book, so it's not like just a murder investigation. for a while there, it read mostly like a contemporary novel where we're just like getting to know the characters and their relationships with each other and things like that. So that was a little different from what I was expecting, but once the investigation process actually started to get going, it was still a really laid-back investigation. Not what I was expecting out of this novel. It does definitely deal with more grittier issues though, so physical abuse, child abuse, pedophilia, and suicide. So I just want to let you know right now that those things are part of this story. But yeah, this one was quite a bit longer than I expected. Let me see how many pages there are in here. There's actually a reading group guide in the back, which I was surprised by, with discussion questions. This one was 393 pages. So I think the audiobook was like 17 hours or so. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. While I was looking for the other books in this series, after I had finished it, I did notice that there is a TV series that is based off of this series in Swedish, so with English subtitles. And through my library's offering of Hoopla, I am able to rent episodes from that series, so I think I'd be interested in doing that, just to like hear what a Swedish accent actually sounds like and how the names are pronounced by them. But again, here I go again with my ratings. I gave this one 4 stars as well. Nothing quite pushed it over the edge for me with the books that I read this month as far as being that 5-star book. They were all very enjoyable, all series that I'll continue, but all 4 stars. I really liked it. I didn't love them, really liked them. So that was the last book I read as part of March Mystery Madness. I did end up reading 4 volumes of manga as well, because I had them borrowed from the library and they were already on their last renewal, so I had to read them so that I could return them to the library. So I read volumes 3 and 4 of Bungo Stray Dogs, and this one is kind of about an agency of people who have special abilities. Now, in my defense, I think it was volume 3, has a tie-in with March Mystery Madness. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen my post about this. But lots of our authors are mentioned as characters in the series. So one of the characters that came up was Agatha Christie. And so I was surprised by that. Bungo Stray Dogs does have a bit of a mystery element to it. And they do work cases. So I'd say that counts for March Mystery Madness, don't you? So yeah, I when I first started reading this series, I wasn't too enamored with it. I was persuaded to watch the anime by my daughter because she thought that I might connect with it a little better if I did, and she was right. And so after I finished the first 2 volumes, I watched the anime up until where I had read, and then we borrowed 3 and 4, and that experience was much better for me. So again, I gave both of these volumes 4 stars. And I always forget to tell you who the author is when I don't have the book with me, but Bungo Stray Dogs is done by Kafka Asagiri. Then the other 2 volumes of manga that I read were Welcome to the Ballroom, volumes 3 and 4. This one is by Tomo Takeuchi, and this one follows an amateur ballroom dancer. Now, There is an anime out for this one, but my daughter does not want to watch it until we have read more volumes of the manga, so we do have it sitting on our wait list. But this one has a lot of like action sequence panels. And when I say action sequence, I mean like the dancing. Lots of the dance movements. So you kind of have to perceive in your mind like how they're moving with the dance. But I really enjoy this one. In these 2 volumes, they're in a competition, and it was super exciting. Like, I think I read 1 volume a night. Not that it usually takes me very long to read manga, but this one, the volumes just flew. And it's because of all of the excitement with the dances. So I really enjoyed this one as well. And again, I gave this one 4 stars. It was a really great reading month for me. So I am in the middle of a couple of my other March Mystery Madness reads. So I will let you know where I'm at with those right now. So the first book I want to mention is When the Bough Breaks by Jonathan Kellerman. Now, if you remember on my TBR, I was waiting for this book to come in from the library, and it is one that I own, but I can't seem to find in my my bookshelves. So as soon as I got this one, because it took so long to come in, I started to read it. I got to page 26. And it just rubbed me the wrong way. Now, I don't want to give up on it because I hear these books are very, very good, or at least this writer is. But in 26 pages, there were 2 passages. One that included a derogatory statement against Japanese people, and the other one which was a comment made out of ignorance regarding something Japanese. At least from where I'm coming from, it was ignorance. Now, if you remember last year sometime, I read Second Street Station, which I was supposed to read Brooklyn on Fire as part of March Mystery Madness, which is the second book in that series. Well, that one had derogatory remarks about Chinese people, and it rubbed me the wrong way. That one had 2, but they were like in the middle of the book. This one had 2, 26 pages in, 2 already. And I had to put it down. I can't look past it right now. I'm hoping that when I get a little bit of distance from it, it won't bother me as much, but it does still, and it's been a couple weeks since I picked this one up. So this one is on hold for right now. I'm not sure, it kind of made me want to adopt a 3 strikes you're out rule as far as things like that go. And again, this one had 2 already. So yeah, I don't want to say too much about what it is exactly that bothered me, but yeah, there was no good reason to have things like that in this book. Now, I understand this one was written in 1985, and it was a different world back then, but it still rubbed me the wrong way. I'm sorry, it did. So this one is on hold. One of the other books I'm in the middle of is Offkilter, which is the first book in the Scottish Highlands Mystery Series by Hannah Reid. This was the March selection for the Book 1 Cozies Club, or First in a Series Cozy Mystery Book Club. I am on page 196. I'd say I'm about 2/3 done with this. I'm really enjoying this. This really got me into the spirit of March because it does take place in Scotland. It follows an aspiring romance novel writer, which I thought was interesting. This one is taking me a little longer to read though. Even though I'm finding it very enjoyable, the Scottish accent is actually written into the sentences. So it takes me a while to read through the sentence and hear the brogue, and then read, and then, you know, like you read through it again to absorb it. So that's what's taking me a little longer with this, but I do enjoy it. Now, I'm kind of curious to see where this series is going to go because she's supposedly only in Scotland for 6 months. So I know there are other books in this series, so I may have to find out in succession. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this one, and I should be done with it soon. The last book that I'm currently reading is The Dollmaker, which is by Mary Burton, and it's the second book in the Forgotten Files mystery series. This one I'm listening to exclusively on audiobook, and I am really enjoying it. Again, if you like Criminal Minds, the TV show, you're going to like this series. The first book was called The Shark, and so this one, The Dollmaker, that's the name of the serial killer, and it's very interesting. I am enjoying the more gritty investigation process. This one does follow different characters from the first book. However, characters from the first book are being mentioned, and there has been an appearance of one of the characters in the first book already in the second book. So it was a nice tie-in. Apparently the main character in The Dollmaker was mentioned in The Shark, but I don't remember it. So again, a tie-in there, but I am really enjoying this one as well. There's kind of two mysteries going on in this one. I presume they are going to tie into each other, but maybe not. But that's the fun about mysteries. You never know what's going to happen, or who is involved, or if certain clues connect with each other. And so, yeah, really enjoying this one as well. And that is all that I am reading right now. So, again, thank you so much for joining us for March Mystery Madness. I had a blast talking with you guys and chatting with you and seeing all of the things you're reading, all your Instagram posts and your Twitter comments and the group comments. You guys are amazing. And so, yeah, until the next March Mystery Madness, I do hope you keep up reading mysteries. March was also a month where I posted a lot more videos than I have ever posted on my channel. So for all of you new viewers, I know a lot of people subscribed to me during March, which thank you very much. I don't post videos that often. So just so you know, April's probably going to be a slower month for videos. But yeah, coming back after a long hiatus, I was pretty motivated to get some of those videos out, and just the camaraderie and all of the support just made me really strive to get that content out for you guys. So again, thank you so much. I hope you are all doing great, and until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.